StarFox 64 was the first Star Fox game that I played as a kid. I missed it on the Super Nintendo, and I'm really not sure why. It's got a really cool premise, and it was really something that I would have gotten into as a kid. But I missed it until the Nintendo 64 came out, and that's whenever I got into the series. StarFox 64 is an on-rail 3D space shooter where you control Fox McCloud and his R-Wing fighter on his mission to find and destroy the space monkey, Andross. It was released in 1997 and had the famous Rumble Pack included.
This is the Rumble Pack.
I played the crap out of this game as a kid. I remember beating it in one evening on the night that I got it, and my dad was not happy about it. He thought it would keep me entertained for a long time, and that beating it meant I was done with it. Not the case at all. This game is stocked with stuff to do and accomplish, giving it a very high replay value. There is some story present in StarFox 64, but like most Nintendo titles, the story isn't really the central focus of the game. The game is more about the gameplay experience. You are Fox McCloud, you're fighting Andross's army, and you're contracted out by General Pepper of the Cornerian army. Andross himself is a former Cornerian, and he has betrayed his system, Lylat. The Lylat system. He's betrayed it. Betrayed the Lylat system! Betrayal! Fox's team includes Peppy Hare, who is a friend of Fox's late father, and a mentor figure to Fox, Falco Lombardi, the group's resident asshole, and Slippy Toad, the StarFox team's mechanic, who badly pilots an R-Wing and is in constant need of help.
Slippy! I knew you'd come help me.
There is a subplot involving a rivalry with the mercenary Starwolf team, with members including Wolf O'Donnell, Leon Pawlowski, Pigma Dengar, the pigman who betrayed James McCloud years ago, and Andrew Oikani, Andross's nephew. Nothing much happens here other than some banter between the groups during their battles. You also run into helpful characters such as Kat and Bill.
Cat, what are you doing here?
A lot of early 3D titles don't really hold up well today graphically, but I really think StarFox 64 is kind of an exception to that rule. While there are still a lot of low resolution and blocky textures, this is one of the best looking games on the system. I still remember being impressed with how detailed the environments were, especially planets like Aquas. The ships and bosses all look really good. I like the music in StarFox 64. Don't get me wrong, but honestly, it's not that memorable to me. It could have been a lot better, I'm sure, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. I like the Starwolf theme, that's really cool. But like the Cornerian theme, I honestly remember the Cornerian theme better from this game. The game that I didn't play as a kid than I do from this game. The game I played a ton as a kid. It's a little bit of a shame. But, you know, the music's really not the standout star whenever it comes to sound on StarFox 64. It's the meme-worthy voice acting. Where StarFox 64 really shines through is the gameplay. The game is incredibly fun to play. Controlling your ship takes some getting used to on the crazy, obsolete Nintendo 64 controller. But after a while, you'll get a good feel for it and will be blasting Andross's army like a pro. Using the C buttons in conjunction with the L and R buttons to do advanced flight maneuvers still does feel a bit wonky, but again, you'll get used to it after a while. You have the ability to charge your blaster. This works well for locking onto enemies and destroying groups of them at one time. You can receive 2 blaster upgrades, going from a single shot to a twin laser to a more powerful twin laser. Shooting your laser rapidly works very well for bosses or other types of enemies that take multiple shots to kill. Fox also has the option to pick up bombs, which act as sort of a screen nuke and are required for some bosses. You can only hold on to a small number of bombs at one time, but in places where they are required, you are given access to plenty of them. Remember how I said this game had a ton of replayability? I wasn't lying. With several different paths to take to the end, and set scores to beat on each planet to achieve medals, this game gives you a lot to do. There are several branches to take, the easy, intermediate, and hard paths, depending on whether you find a secret area within a level or complete certain tasks. For example, if you save Falco from a few easy enemies on the first level, then fly through all the arches on the water, Falco will take you on an alternate route to face the true boss of Corneria. Beating this boss will set you on the hard path to the end. You can choose to take the easy path instead, however. This feature gives you a ton of different options when playing the game. Taking the easy path doesn't necessarily mean that the game is any less fun. You still get to fly through and kill enemies in a bunch of really cool planets and interesting areas. And the hard path is, more of the same. A lot of really cool different areas to fly through, a lot of cool bosses to face. The game gets easier the more you play it. The first time I played through it to record footage was the first time I played it in many years. It was tough, even on the easy path. After playing it through once, however, I found my wings again and I was making easy work of the challenges presented to me. I have to thank the Cartridge Club for getting me to play through this game again. This was the game of the month a few months ago, and I had a blast playing it and then talking about it with a bunch of cool people afterwards. I'll link the website in the description, so don't forget to check them out. I highly recommend playing StarFox 64, but there is one thing that I really want to talk about before I end the video, and that's the label. Look at this label. Right down in the corner, that's the R-Wing, and it's covered up by, the Nintendo 64 logo and the ESRB rating. And the rest of it is this big, just random enemy from the game. That would be like if you had a Super Mario Brothers cart and Lakitu was the big enemy on the label, and Mario was down in the little corner covered by these icons. I don't get it. It's an easy pickup for the Nintendo 64. They usually go for about 10 to 15 bucks. I can't even remember how much I paid for this. And you can also get it on the Wii Virtual Console. And there's a 3DS version, which I have not played, but I've heard very good things about. Yeah, that's all I have now. So, thanks guys for watching, and later.